My name is Trevor and I'm going to be leading you through this hour-long Vinyasa class. So the first half of the class will be quite flowing because we're aiming to get the heart rate up a little bit and get the body nice and warm. And then from about halfway on, we hold the poses for a little bit longer to get that slightly deeper stretch. As always, listen to your body. Nothing should feel painful or like it's creating any tension or discomfort. If you feel any pain, just back out of the pose a little bit and find the version that feels good in your body. Okay, with all that being said, let's get ourselves warm. So come to a seated position on the mat, comfortably crossing the legs. If this already feels a little bit tight or constricted in the hips and the knees feel like they're riding up here, bring yourself onto a couple of cushions, perhaps a yoga block or a bolster, just to lift your hips a little and give you a little bit more space in the hip joint. Bring the hands to lightly rest on the knees, lengthen up through the spine. And we're just going to start with a couple of shoulder rolls to get the shoulders mobilized and warm. So circling forward, up, back and down. You can start small and gradually get bigger. Just listen to what the body is telling you. Feel if there are any tight spots, any knots. We're getting the shoulders ready to bear our body weight. Because for the first half of the class, we do support our body weight on our arms and shoulders. Let's reverse the circle, going back up, forward and down. Gradually making the circles bigger, just feeling that warm feeling through the neck and the shoulders. Okay, bring the fingertips to the shoulders and we do the elbow circles. So you touch the elbows in the front, circle up past the ears to the back wall and down past the ribs. Forward and up, back and down. Forward and up, back and down. Let's reverse. Back and up, forward and down. Just gently keeping the shoulders unshrugged for these circles. Okay, bringing the fingertips down to the floor. Let's do our alternate ear to the shoulder. Ear goes down and up. Try and keep the fingers connected so that they don't start sliding or lifting. Opposite ear goes down and up. You'll feel keeping the hands here on the floor does slightly limit the range of how far the head can go. And up. Other side, but you'll get a much deeper stretch for your neck muscles. And up, one more either side. And center, keeping the eyes looking forward. And center, keeping the hands here. We do a little half circle. You look to the right shoulder, you circle down the chest to the other shoulder, down towards the chest, over the shoulder. Try and keep the spine lifted so that we're not rolling forward and back on the sit bones or changing the shape of the lower back. Last time. And then come to the center. Let's go for a couple of side bends. Keeping the fingertips of one hand on the floor, the other arm goes up. Walk those fingertips a little bit further out. Place the elbow down. And just take a nice deep breath here into that side that we're stretching away from. And on the exhale, return back up, fingertips go down, switching sides. Walk the fingertips out a little bit. The elbow goes down. Take a nice deep breath in here. And exhale to come back up to the top. Let's do a little rotation. Opposite hand to the knee, lifting through the spine. And gently use your arms to rotate your spine. Coming back to the center, switching arms, lifting up through the spine and gently rotating. Let's do one more either side. using the arms just to gently assist you into the twist. Still going fairly gentle at this point as we're just mobilizing the body other side. And center. Let's go for a couple of seated cat-cows. So, keeping the hands on the knees, roll behind the sit bones, eyes go down to the tailbone, rounding the spine. And then gently pull with the hands as you stick your bottom out behind you and lift your chest up to the ceiling. Feel like your belly button pops out forward. Rounding the spine back, feel like your belly button is popping out the back of your spine. And then arch. Last time, rounding the spine, rolling behind your sit bones onto the tailbone. And center, and then arching the back, sending the tailbone behind you, the belly button out in front. And center. Okay, from here, come onto the hands and knees. Let's progress with our kneeling cat-cow. So first, rounding the spine, nose to tailbone and tailbone to nose. And then arching, eye line goes up, tailbone goes up. Reverse, pull the abdominals deep, tailbone goes under, and arching, eyes go up, tailbone goes up. Last time, pulling the abs deep, pressing the floor away with your hands and your knees, and then arching. Feel that little bit of a stretch for the abdominals. And then find your neutral position. Okay, let's go for our downward facing dog. So curl the toes under and lift the hips up to the ceiling. Find the position where you can get your heels ideally grounded into the mat with the knees as straight as you can get them. If you can get the knees all the way straight, that's the ideal. Unshrug the shoulders, plant those fingers and the heels of the hands firmly into the mat. Let's take a moment just to look at our vinyasa. So step the feet back a little bit and come into a high plank position. This vinyasa will be repeated several times. Now, the beginner vinyasa, put the knees down, bend the elbows and put the chest down. The bottom stays up, so we get a little arch for the lower back. The chin is just lightly on the floor, the eyes look forward. Now from here, you slide the hips a little forward to put them down, the toes uncurl, and we press up to a little baby cobra. If you feel like you can go all the way up to upward facing dog without cranking in the lower back, you can press the chest up. The beginner vinyasa, you pass through your 4-point kneeling to curl the toes under and lift the hips up. Let's do that one more time. Step the feet back a little bit for high plank. The knees go down, the chest goes down. The hips lower, the chest presses up to either baby cobra or upward facing dog. If at this level you want to lift the hips straight to downward facing dog, you lift the hips onto the toes, you curl the toes under and press the heels down. Let's do one of the slightly more challenging vinyasa. So find your plank position. Now this time keep the knees up and you just bend the elbows to lower to our low plank, hovering just off the floor. The hips go down, the toes uncurl, and we press up. Again, you can choose upward facing dog with straight elbows or baby cobra. Lifting the hips, come onto the top of the foot, and then rolling over the toes for downward facing dog. So those are your two versions of your vinyasa. Let's go for our first sequence. On the inhale, lift the right leg up high to the ceiling. On the exhale, fold the heel to the bottom. On the next inhale, lift the leg up, rising up on the left toes, Step that foot all the way to the outside of your right foot. The back knee goes down, the toes uncurl, and the hips just melt down. Turn the front foot out slightly so that the toes are off the mat and the knees pointing slightly out to that side. You can take a gentle rock from side to side just to ease the hips into the position. If this feels comfortable, you can come down onto the elbows. Keep gently rocking just to melt the hips down. Then pause the rocking and we open that right arm up to the ceiling. If you've got that extra bit of flexibility, you can continue rotating the arm as if you're trying to reach for the wall behind you. Keep dropping the hips to the floor. That hand comes back. We come onto both hands, curl the back toes under, pick the back knee up. We step back to high plank, and here is our vinyasa. So choose whether you're going to put the knees and chest down or lower to low plank. Pressing up to baby cobra or upward facing dog. And then lifting up to downward facing dog. We repeat on the other side. Inhale the left leg high up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold it into the bottom. Inhale to lift it up, rising up, stepping to the outside of the front hand and lower the back knee down. Turn the front foot out a little bit and then gently rocking from side to side. If this feels comfortable, you can come onto the elbows. Keep gently rocking yourself deeper into the stretch. Then pause the rocking, opening the chest up to the ceiling. If you've got that extra bit of rotation, continue rotating and reach the arm a little past the center. So the chest is opening more to the ceiling. Bring that hand back onto the mat, other hand back, curl the back toes under, straighten that knee. We step the front leg back to high plank. Knees and chest go down or lower down to low plank. Pressing up baby cobra or upward facing dog. Lifting the hips, downward facing dog. Our second sequence. The right leg goes up as you inhale. Exhale, fold it to the bottom. Inhale, lift it up, rising up. This time step it between your hands. The back knee goes down, the back toes uncurl. This time we come up to a kneeling lunge. The hands come onto that front knee to help press the body upright. Deepen your abdominals and melt the hips down to the floor. If this feels comfortable, you can reach the arms up to the ceiling. Open them to cactus position. And then gently press the elbows back and lift the chest up to the ceiling, spreading the fingers with a little bit of energy. Just hold that for a moment. Bring the hands back down to the floor, curl the back toes under, straightening the knee, stepping back to high plank, lowering down to low plank. Lift the chest up. Remember, you can always put the knees and chest down as an option. Lifting the hips for downward facing dog. Left leg goes up as we inhale. Exhale, fold it to the bottom. Inhale, lift it up, rising up, stepping through between the hands. Back knee goes down. Uncurl the toes and bring the body upright. Spend a moment here, using your hands to press the body upright, feeling this stretch through that hip flexor. If this feels comfortable, the arms go up first. Cactus position, press the elbows back a little bit and lift the chest up. Feel that nice opening across your chest and your heart. Feel the deep stretch down that right hip flexor. The hands come down, the toes curl under, the back knee straightens, stepping back. High plank to low plank or knees and chest go down. Lowering the hips, upward facing dog, baby cobra. Lifting the hips, downward facing dog. The right leg lifts. It folds as you exhale. Inhale, lift it. Now this time, bend that knee through and bring it to your nose. Trying to round your spine like we did in the cat. Put that knee down between your hands. Put your pelvis down on the heel of that front foot. Unhook the toes. So now I'm sitting right on my heel. My heel is right between my sit bones. From here, I lift my chest up, coming up onto the fingertips. Trying to keep the back knee nice and long and straight. And then walk the hands forward. You can either stretch the arms out front, or you can cross the hands in front of the forehead and rest the head down. You can take a very gentle rock from side to side just to massage the stretch through this outside of that front leg's hip. Then bring the body back up, placing the hands on the mat, curl the back toes under, straighten the back leg, lifting the hips to step back to high plank. Either the knees and the chest go down or lower to low plank. Lifting the chest, upward facing dog or baby cobra, lifting the hips, downward facing dog. We inhale the left leg up. Exhale to bend at the knee, fold the heel to the bottom. Inhale to lift the leg. Pull that knee up towards your nose, rounding the spine. Just hold for a second. Feel those abdominals pulling up and in. Put the knee down between your hands. Sit your pelvis down on that heel and slide the back leg back, uncurling the toes. Coming up onto the fingertips, lifting the chest up to the ceiling. And then walk the hands out, either stretching the arms out front or crossing the palms. So sitting on that front heel, you can again take a gentle rock from side to side, just to gently massage the tension out of that left hip. And then coming back up onto the hands, curl the back toes under, lifting the back knee up, stepping back to your high plank, lowering down to low plank or knees and chest go down, lifting the chest up and lifting the hips for downward facing dog. We now go into our first standing pose or warrior one. Inhale, sweep the leg up, the right leg, and exhale, fold the heel to the bottom. Inhale, lift the leg, rising up, step the foot between the hands. The back heel goes down and we sweep the body up. The arms come together overhead. We deepen the lunge. If your balance feels comfortable here, you can look up at the thumbs. Otherwise, just keep looking forward. Square those hips to the front of your mat, deepen the abs and curl the tailbone under. We breathe here for 5 breaths. 1, 2, remember for added challenge you can look up at the hands. 3, 4, and 5. The hands go down. We step back. Knees and chest go down or high, low plank. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Let's repeat on the left. Inhale, sweep the leg up.
Exhale, fold the heel to the bottom. Inhale, lifting the leg, stepping through, feet between the hands, the back heel goes down,
and we sweep up for warrior one on the other side. Keep squaring those hips forward, deepening the abdominals. For added challenge, you can lift the hips up. Lift the eyes up to the hands. Lots of energy through that back knee, deepening the front lunge. This is a working pose, so we really do want to feel the muscles of the legs working. 3, 4, and 5. The hands come down. The back heel lifts as we step back to our high plank. Knees and chest go down, or low plank. Hips go down, pressing up as high as you feel comfortable in your lower back. Lifting the hips for downward facing dog. Let's go straight into our next sequence, which is warrior 2. The right leg lifts as you inhale. You exhale to fold it to the bottom. Inhale, lifting the leg. Sweep it through to step between. Again, the back heel goes down. And we come up briefly to our warrior 1. Now, if you feel like you need a bit more space, you can move the front foot a little further forward as we open the hips to the side of your mat. Your hips and shoulders are pointing to the side of the mat. Your eyes are looking straight over the middle finger of your front hand. Keep pulling the abs deep and the tailbone underneath you so that we're not sticking the bottom out behind. And check that that front knee is directly over the middle of your foot and not falling inwards. We breathe 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. From here, the hands go down either side of the front foot as that back heel lifts. We step the front foot back. High plank to low plank, or chest and knees down. Lifting the chest for upward facing dog. Lifting the hips for downward facing dog. And we repeat on the left. Sweeping the left leg up as you inhale. Exhale, fold it to the bottom. Inhale, lift the leg up, rising up, sweep the leg through, stepping between your hands. The back heel goes down, and we briefly sweep up to warrior 1. The hips and shoulders open to the side of the mat. Slide your feet a bit further apart if you feel like you need to. The eyes are looking straight over your front foot. Looking at that middle finger of your front hand. The tailbone is underneath, the abs are deep. We breathe 5 times. 1, 2, shoulders down, energy through the back leg. 3, 4, and 5. The hands come down either side of the front foot, stepping the front foot back. High plank to low plank, or chest and knees on the floor. Lifting up for upward facing dog. Lifting the hips for downward facing dog. This time, continue walking your feet forward. If you can keep the knees straight, keep them straight. Otherwise, bend the knees a little bit. The first 2 fingers go around the big toes, and you try and lift the sit bones up to the ceiling. How straight can you get the knees? From here, fold the body down towards the floor, like the crown of your head is trying to reach through the mat. Pull the knee muscles up,
And we breathe here 5 times. 1, 2. The eyes are looking at your own navel. 3. Keep pulling those knee muscles up. 4. 5. From here, bend the knees, relax the arms, pull the abs in deep, and roll the spine back up, bone by bone. Keep the head till last.
Okay, we take a little counter pose. Place the hands on your bottom. Your fingers should be wrapped over your butt cheeks, and the flat part of your hand is on the back of your pelvis. Pull the abdominals in and up, and we just gently press the hips a little bit forward as we take a big back bend. Allow the support of your hands to stop you from collapsing down into the lower back. So it's a feeling of going up and over in a big arc. The eyes just look up at the ceiling. Try not to let the neck crank too far. And recover the body upright. From here, turn the feet out about 45 degrees and step them wider than your hips. So they'll kind of be just about the outside of your shoulder width. We're going to work on our yogic squat. Bring the hands together in your heart center. Ideally, the heels are going to stay grounded as we slide the back all the way down so that my bottom ends up a little bit lower than my knees. My elbows are pressing into my knees. My thumbs are gently pressing against my chest. I'm lengthening my chest and my spine up to the ceiling. Now, if for reasons of ankle or knee tightness, you can't keep the heels down, bring your hands onto the floor and just rock a little forward. So even though my heels are now not grounded, I am still trying to reach my heels down towards the floor. So I'm not rocking my weight all the way forward and lifting the heels. My heels are slightly raised, but they are trying to reach for the floor. The spine is still straight, like I'm trying to lift my chest, so I'm not rounding my back. Think bottom out behind you, chest up to the ceiling. Okay, so choose your version, either prayer position, pushing the knees out, or hands on the floor. Let's stay here for 2 more breaths. Final breath. Now bring the hands just behind you, rock onto the hands, place yourself down, place the feet down, and just open the knees into our butterfly pose. We're going to go for our closed angle pose. So for this version of the pose, bring your feet in nice and close. We're going to take hold of the inner border of your foot, and you're going to open the feet like a book, like you would open the pages of the book, using your thumb and your fingers to rotate your soles of your feet up to the ceiling, lifting up through the spine. And now curl into yourself like you're trying to put your head inside of that book that you've just opened. So it's not as long as our butterfly stretch, it's a little bit more like curling into yourself to get your head on the soles of your feet. The abdominals are actively pulling in and backwards. We breathe here 5 times. So rather than think that it's a long forward stretch, think like you're trying to make a little snail's shell, like spiraling into yourself. 3, 4, and 5. Roll rolling the spine up, closing the knees. Make sure you're in the middle of your mat and then rolling down for a reclined twist. The arms go straight out to the side. Lift your hips a little bit to the left, and then we rotate the hips to the right. Try and keep your knees together. If you struggle to keep the knees together, you can extend the top leg to use the weight of the whole leg to keep you in the twist. The head turns in the opposite direction, and we breathe 5 times. 1. 2. On every exhale, try and gently massage this left shoulder down into the mat. 3. 4. 5. If the top leg is straight, bend it in and then gently coming back to the center. Lift your hips back to the middle of the mat to reset, and we go other side. Lift the hips to the right and the hips and knees go to the left. Again, if you feel like you struggle keeping your legs together, you can extend the top leg to use the weight of that leg. The head turns in the opposite direction and we breathe 5 times. 1. 2. 3. 4. Massaging this right shoulder down. 5. Bend the leg if it's not bent already. Bring your hips back to the center of your mat. Bring the knees into your chest and rock yourself up to seated. Okay, we go for our head to knee pose. Bring the right leg in, bending the knee till it's all the way closed. Opening the knee to the side. Make sure this foot is as high up the inner seam of your leg as you can get it. Flex the other foot strongly. The arms go up to the ceiling, spreading the fingers, getting a bit of a lift through your chest. Start tilting forward. How far forward can you reach? Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Ideally, the hands are going to clasp around the bottom of the foot, around the sole of the foot. But if you can't reach there, either grab the calf, the ankle, or the sides of the foot. Fold the head towards the shin, and we breathe 5 times. 1. 2. Every exhale, just relax the body down over that leg a bit more. 3. 4. 5. Rolling the spine up. Help this knee back to the middle and extend it out. Other side. Fold the leg in. Rotate the leg out. Fold that foot high up the inner seam of your leg. Reach the arms up. Spread your fingers. Imagine there's light shining out your fingertips. Now shine those beams of light forward, forward, forward. Taking hold where you can get hold. Lifting the chest, and we forward fold. We breathe 5 times. 1. Flex this front foot strongly. 2. 3. 4. 5. Rolling the spine up. Bring this leg parallel and lengthen it forward. We go for our fire log pose. So for the fire log pose, I'll show you from the front. Bend this leg in, flex this foot and place it just under the knee of the other leg. So your foot is just out on the other side of this leg with a strongly flexed ankle. From here, you bend the top leg and we try and put this ankle bone on that knee. Now I specifically say ankle bone because if we do foot, we sometimes push this ankle through an uncomfortable angle. Flex this foot strongly and have the outside ankle bone on there. Spend a moment here. Perhaps this knee is really high up and you just need to maybe spend a moment massaging that knee down. If this is not possible, you can put that foot just in front of the other knee. Now from here, again, we lengthen the spine up and we're going to tilt forward, forward, forward. The head curls down towards the floor. And we breathe 5 times. You'll feel quite a deep stretch in the outside hips and more so on the hip of the leg that's on the top. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Rolling the spine up, helping this top leg down and straightening both legs out. We repeat on the other side. You fold the left leg in, take the knee out to the side as before, but this time again, feed the foot just under the knee of the other leg. Strongly flexed foot, so I'm making a flat edge with this foot here. I bend the top leg in and I put the ankle bone on the knee. Remember, ankle bone, not the foot. This foot also stays strongly flexed. That's to protect your knees. Again, you might need to gently massage this knee down for a moment using your hands. And then when we're ready, arms go up, lift through the spine, lengthening forward, hands go down, elbows go down, and we curl the head. We breathe 5 times. 1, 2, keep lengthening the spine forward. 3, 4, 5, rolling the spine back up, assisting this leg forward and the other leg forward as well. Okay, we go for our inner thighs now. So we move from the outer hip to the inner hip into our happy baby pose. So rolling yourself onto your back. Let's prepare for the happy baby pose by bringing the hands around the inside of the knees and the fingers just wrap towards the outside of the knee. The feet can either stay together or they can just open with the knees. And we just hang here for a second, gently using the weight of your arms to press the knees down towards the floor. Just let that pose settle for a second. Feel the entire length of your spine from the head to the tailbone on the mat. Now from here, the feet go up to the ceiling, the knees stay wide, the hands go around the inside edges of the feet, and you're just gently pulling the knees down to the floor. You'll notice that my shin is pointing straight up to the ceiling, so I'm not down here with my feet pointing towards my bottom. Imagine you're making a footprint on the ceiling with your feet. Check that your bottom isn't up here off the floor, so try and lay the tailbone back down. And then we gently pull the knees down towards the floor as we breathe 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring the feet together, closing the knees. Take a second just to hug the arms around the knees. If you can place the head down, place the head down. Just feel that little bit of compression for the hips. Then change your hands to behind your knees and rock yourself to sitting up. We're going to go for our half saddle pose. Extend the left leg out, rock all the way onto your left sit bone so that your right bottom is completely off the floor, and fold this leg all the way in. Try and see if you can get your right sit bone down on the inside of this foot. The knee should point straight to the front, not to the side. This might be where you sit for today. If this is already giving you quite a deep stretch, listen to the knee, no knee pain. If this feels like too much of a stretch, you can bring yourself up onto a block or a pillow under your left bottom. From here, we're going to lean back first onto the left elbow. So it's the opposite elbow to the knee that's bent. And we just hold this for a moment. As always, listen to the knees. If already here you feel like this knee is wanting to rise off the floor, then this is probably deep enough for you. To help anchor that knee down, you can cross the other ankle over that knee. The weight of this left leg will just help to pin the right knee down. If this feels comfortable, you can try and come down first onto both elbows. And if this feels comfortable, you can come down onto your back. Let's spend another 3 breaths here. Last breath. Come up onto the elbows first, onto the left elbow, to come up, straightening the left leg out, stay on the left bottom, use your hand to keep this knee closed as you bring it all the way through before we extend it. We just want to avoid any twisting on the knee as we come out. Okay, rocking onto the right bottom, lifting the left bottom. I fold this leg until it's closed and I put the foot down. You might notice one side is quite a bit tighter. For instance, this side is my tight side, so I'm having a bit of trouble getting this sit bone down. So this might be your position for today. Spend a moment to make sure that knee really is okay. From here, we go down on the opposite elbow. Take a moment here. How's that knee? Is that knee starting to lift off the floor? In which case, this is probably where you'll stay for today. Maybe adding that other leg for a little bit of downwards anchoring. If that feels okay, try both elbows. So for me, this is where I'm going to finish today. I'm not going to go all the way onto my back because my left thigh is telling me this is about as much as it wants for today. But you can lower your shoulders all the way down. Breathe there for a few moments. To come out, come up onto the elbows first. Roll onto the right elbow. Coming up, extend that right leg. Stay on the right side. Keep the knee closed all the way through. And give the knees a moment just to recover from that. Let's go for a seated twist. I'll turn to face you. Fold the right leg in and again place it just under the other leg. This time fold it all the way up to your sit bone. The left leg steps over. The opposite arm wraps around the front knee. The other hand goes on the mat behind you. Make sure both sit bones are down on the floor, lifting up through the spine and rotate over that back shoulder. I'm using the front arm to pull this leg into my body. I'm using my back arm to rotate into the spiral. Just breathe here for a couple of moments. Actively lengthening up through the spine so we're not compressing downwards. Okay, let's progress this. Using your left hand to slightly press this knee across your midline, bring the right arm all the way around. Now you can either keep that hand pointing down at the floor, or if you feel like you get a bit more grip, you can point the hand up to the ceiling and press with this elbow. And now we rotate back into the twist. We're just a little bit deeper into the spiral now. Keep lifting up to the ceiling, either with a bent arm or a straight arm, whichever one gives you a little bit of extra purchase. Let's go for 2 more breaths here. Lifting and spiraling. And carefully coming out to the center. Untwisting the legs and extend them out to the front. Let's repeat other side. Fold the left leg in and feed it under the other leg. Bring it close to your bottom. The right leg steps over. Make sure both sit bones are down so we're not tipping towards the left. The left arm comes around that knee. Other hand goes on the mat to help press me upwards. And then I rotate over that back shoulder. I'm actively hugging the leg in with my front leg, with my front arm. We breathe here for a few breaths. Remember that whenever we're twisting or spiraling, think upwards to aid in decompressing your discs of your spine. Okay, untwist a little bit. Use your right hand to assist that knee across. Bring the opposite arm as far through. Get that knee right up to your armpit if you can. Choose your arm position, either a straight arm or a bent arm with a hand pointing up to the ceiling. Lift up through the spine and rotate. Breathing deeply. Every exhale is an opportunity just to deepen a millimeter more into the twist. Last breath. And then carefully coming out. Okay, uncrossing the leg. Let's do our final inversion pose. We'll go for our shoulder stand. So you have several choices of the shoulder stand. I'll show the full version first, coming onto your back. The legs go up to the ceiling. If they feel tight, you can have them a little bit bent. Hands on the mat. We take a little wind up with the legs to help lift the hips. The hands go under the hips. Walk the elbows and shoulders a little closer together. Lift the hips up and walk the hands a little higher up the back. Try and look straight up to the ceiling and not turn your head in this position. You should feel like your weight is in your elbows and your shoulders and not on your neck. There should be a little bit of space between your chin and your chest, so we're not jamming onto the neck. So this is the full version of shoulder stand. One step back, lower the hips a little bit, and bring the hands more to just above your bottom. The legs point 45 degrees over your head. The next step back, bring a couple of pillows or a yoga bolster or a yoga block under your hips. And then just lie here with your hips slightly raised and your legs up to the ceiling. Our final pose or step back is cross your wrists just underneath your pelvis and then just lie here with your pelvis gently elevated by your crossed wrists. Whichever version of the pose you're in, pelvis slightly raised, pelvis in your hands, or lower back supported by your hands. Breathe and look up at your big toes. 2 more breaths here. Finish the last breath. Bend the knees in towards your nose if your legs are up in the air. And in a tight little ball, roll yourself down to place the feet on the floor. Let's extend our legs for our final Shavasana. If you are feeling a bit chilly at this point, I recommend getting a blanket or wrapping up nice and warm in a jumper. Extend the legs out. Allow the legs just to rotate outwards comfortably. The hands come by your sides, palms facing up. Back of the neck is long, the eyes are looking straight up at the ceiling. And then gently closing the eyes. Take a few moments just to make whatever little adjustments you feel you need to make to get comfortable. And then really consciously connect with the breath. Firstly, just observe the sound. The sound that it makes as it comes in through the nose, and the sound that it makes as it leaves through the nose. Then become aware of the sensation of the breath. Feel the slight coolness of the air through the nose and the nostrils as it comes in. And then the slightly warmer feeling as it leaves through the nose. Become aware of any tickling sensations as the air passes in or out. For today, let's do a counted breath meditation here in our Shavasana. We're going to breathe in for a slow count of 4. And then we're going to breathe out for a slow count of 6. Let's begin. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's release the count. Just let the breath naturally flow in and out. And just really observe the breath. Specifically the sound. If you find a thought has interrupted your breath awareness, just acknowledge the thought and let it go. Allow it to drift away and bring your attention back to the breath, observing the sound of the inhale and the exhale. Bring your awareness back to your body, specifically the fingers and the toes. Start wiggling the fingers and the toes. Tiny little movements, gradually getting bigger until you start circling the ankles and the wrists. Now bring the arms up overhead, clasping one wrist in the other hand. Shrug the shoulders, arch the back, point the toes for a nice big yawn and a stretch. And relax there. Keep the arms overhead as you walk the feet in towards the bottom. Just spend a moment here, feeling the weight of your arms. Then slowly rolling over onto your right side, just allow the head to roll onto that right arm. Keep the eyes closed just for a moment longer. The left hand is just resting in front of your chest on the mat. Just take a moment longer to observe the breath. Keeping the eyes closed for a last moment as you help yourself up to a comfortable seated position, crossing the legs comfortably in front of you. Bring the hands into your lap. Allow the left hand to rest in the palm of the right hand. The chin is slightly nodded down, so the back of the neck is long and the chin is just soft towards your chest. Take a couple more deep breaths. And then slowly opening the eyes, raising the gaze out in front of you. Becoming aware of the space around you, the daylight. Thank you so much for joining me here today on the mat. I hope you feel revitalized and refreshed and ready for another week. Look after yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you again here next week for another yoga class at Silver Linings at Home. Namaste.